I'm Jamila, and I'm practicing cultural resistance through my band Jamila and the Other Heroes, our storytelling with my Palestinian narratives, through educating people on Palestine and anti-racism, and for specifically creating empowerment and healing spaces for our affected communities. I was born on the day the Berlin Wall came down in East Berlin to a Palestinian father and an East German mother. I'm a cultural practitioner in many different facets. I'm a musician, theater maker. For many years have been curating festival programs such as the Arab Underground at Fusion Festival and the Berlin club scene. And since 7 years, I really focus on my own band project, Jamila and the Other Heroes. We're doing psychedelic desert rock and touring a lot through the globe. And I'm also an anti-racism and empowerment trainer. I actually consult cultural institutions, clubs, festivals, all around anti-discrimination and awareness. And I started different empowerment programs to support artists that are affected by racism. My art stands definitely for equality and justice, not just for Palestine. I mean, of course, many of my songs and also the storytelling I do on stage is around Palestine because it's my unique experience and it's how I've been socialized, also my family. But I learned about many different oppressed people on this planet, and I always call for collective liberation, you know, and it's not just about Palestine. Like Palestine is the current, is one of the current symbols to look for collective liberation. Actually, when I was 18, I went to Palestine for the first time on my own without the family context, and I ended up in Jenin. And I worked in different cultural projects, and really soon I discovered the Freedom Theater, Mazrah al-Hurriya, and its founder, Giuliano Mechamis, and that was back in 2009, 2010. And of course, Giuliano was this force, you know, he empowered everyone to use art as a form of resistance. He called out for the cultural intifada. He really made sure that people use art to fight the illegal Israeli military occupation, but also the oppression of women and children in the society. So from really young on, I got really inspired also to work against normalization. He said, "A weapon with no culture behind it only kills, but never liberates." I really feel the power as if we're holding our musical weapons, you know? And we do this concert not to kill, but to liberate. And this is when I also started organizing the Arab Underground and bringing cultural activists from Palestine, but also North Africa and the West Asian region to different alternative festivals and clubs, you know. I think why cultural intifada is so productive because it touches people and their emotions. So we're not having like hour-long political argument discussions. Art is a form to actually move people and wake them up in their heart. And it's not just about convincing people that don't know yet or that haven't made their decision. It's also for me to bring together the community and like create a safer space where we come together and we know we don't have to explain. We know what's going on. We saw the same images last night on the phone. We have family there that experience similar things, you know, and we know what it means to live right now in Berlin or in Germany and experience this growing anti-Palestinian sentiment. And my main focus is on my community and that we take care of each other, that we practice community care, that we look out for our mental health, you know. So reclaiming space, I think, starts with yourself as an individual. What decisions do you take in your everyday life to create yourself a safer space, like in your home, in your daily practice? What do you do to stay healthy, physically and mentally? Actually, I did an empowerment workshop for my Palestinian community where on October 7th, 24, so 1 year later, I asked them to write down all the things that in this horrible year were good for them. Which venues are safe venues? Like, where can you go that you know they're actually pro-Palestine and they're actively doing something to create safer spaces for Palestinians and allies? Which people were the ones you felt safe with to talk to? which daily practices and even like what song or food would help you out in a moment of distress, you know? So like, I think reclaiming space, first of all, in that sense, to be really aware of your surrounding and of what you need and what your community then in the second step needs. For me, the long-term goal is to create our own venues and space. We don't have many clubs or festivals that are not run by white people, you know? So I think this is an extremely important point on long-term goal, but it's also about reclaiming spaces in the homeland, you know? So like which spaces in Palestine exist or emerge? How can we support these spaces? How can we build bridges to know what's going on there and what is needed and what we can learn from the people running these spaces there? And yeah, how can we support and learn? But within what happens, an incredible community emerged worldwide. And this is something that gives me hope and that I also think we have to use not only for the cause of Palestine, you know. I mean, for me, it's all about power sharing. So the question is always like, what can we share? And I think resources like contacts for the network, for people to be able to tour, to play in different places. I don't know, resources for journalists or like, if you experience something, you have a direct network to connect to actually campaign about it, you know, and you're not just alone with an experience of racism or being disinvited or. But I think my vision is really like a strong, own independent venue or venues all over the globe that are connected with each other and that platform Palestinian and other artists that are oppressed, independent from cultural funding, you know. In my vision, every festival and club or theater or whatever cultural space has a very clear policy on their value system towards apartheid and genocide.